February has absolutely flown by, and I wanted to take you all thrifting, but I had zero time. Luckily, I was able to stop at a few stores throughout the month to find all of this stuff, and I wanted to share it with you before I take it to my store. If it's your first time here, my name is Laura and I'm the owner of Oak Street Exchange, which is the name of my booth at an antique store that I started last year. I've also been sharing the entire journey here on YouTube. Now, before I get these things ready to take to my booth, I wanted to go through and show you what I found this month. I participated in one of my local online auctions and found these swans. It was really neat to find the planter and the smaller swans all together. We're starting to get a little warmer weather, so everyone's really excited for spring, and this will be perfect as a small planter. As for the smaller swans, I've seen these two together, but I've never seen this really small one, so I was really excited to see the full set of 3. I am, however, going to price these individually. As a full set, it would look expensive, and with my brass candlestick holders, pricing those individually really helped. That way the customer can decide which ones they want. Moving on, one of my favorite finds this month are these binoculars. I bought them without even taking them out of the case. They were only $5, and I think it would be perfect as a decoration on a table. It reminds me a lot of old cameras or radios that people use as decoration, and I think this would be perfect on a table next to the books. I'm really excited to get it into the booth. Now, both the binoculars and the case have a person's name on it. I've actually decided through the process of doing the antique booth that I always keep those there. Part of the joy that I get from having antiques and vintage items is that it's like a treasure hunt, and I feel like when you have those names that kind of personalize the items and tells you about their history, it just makes you like them even more. So I'm definitely leaving all of those stickers on there. Moving on to these 2 pictures, I've been selling a lot of smaller art pieces in my booth. I sold a sketch and a few small flower pictures. This landscape reminds me of those and is the same size. So it should be perfect to set on a shelf and have a few things in front of it. The landscape was only $1. And then I think this picture is of Paris. I love the black white with just a little bit of red. It's a great accent, and I think it'll look really neat. I also appreciate that the frame is wide enough that it could actually stand up on a table instead of being put on the wall. This was $5, but it seemed worth it. This month I found 2 pieces of hammered aluminum. I found the pitcher first at Goodwill, and then I found this tray at a thrift store. And I think once I found the pitcher, I was probably just thinking about it more. So as soon as I saw the tray, I definitely wanted to pick it up. Each of these pieces are really unique, but it's fun that they both have flowers, so it'll look really good in the booth to put them next to each other. The pitcher itself is really heavy, and again, it has another name on the bottom. This pitcher is in really good shape, and it has a lot of detail. It's a heavier piece, and I scooped it up as soon as I saw it. The tray I actually found second. I found it at a thrift store, and I think it'll get a lot of attention. I love the detail of these tulips, and then of course the handles. You can see all the shapes there. Now that it's the end of February and we're headed into March, these are going to be a great way to add some spring accents to the booth. Another piece that I found at the same thrift store is this sugar jar. I love the silver lid and the cut glass bowl. I also appreciate that it came with the spoon. You can definitely tell that this spoon goes with this dish because the top is tarnished and the inside is not. Many of my silver pieces I actually clean up, and this one I'm gonna keep as is. It's almost too unique to take that away. If someone purchases it and they want to clean it up, they can do it. So I'll leave it up to them to take away that added character. The next item is just this bouquet of wheat. I found this at a thrift store, and I immediately thought of all the dried flowers that I've been adding to the booth. I don't necessarily like this brown ribbon, but my plan is to take that off and just use some twine. I've been trying to add more and more natural elements to the booth. I realized that it's a look that I love that I really haven't focused on before. So as soon as I saw this, I definitely wanted to scoop it up. It's also just unique enough that I think someone else is going to want to grab it too. But I do want to change this ribbon. Next up, I have this extremely tarnished silver bowl. You've noticed that I have quite a few different metals in the booth, but this silver bowl is a really unique shape and I just appreciated it. It is tarnished pretty heavily, but I think after I clean it up, it's going to be both a great display piece and a fun thing for somebody to pick up. A lot of these silver pieces just aren't very expensive. I'll be able to sell this for about $14. And then in it, I have these fabric apples. I had to scoop these up because I just really appreciated the muted tones. I also love that they're fabric with metal leaves. Right now I have a wooden fruit bowl in the booth. I think that once that sells, this will be a really fun thing to replace it with. The next thing I grabbed was this pheasant tile. I looked over it at first, but the second time I came around, I noticed how pretty the birds were. I love that it has just a little pop of color, and again, it brings in those natural tones and natural elements to the booth. And then the final thing is my big find of the month, and that is this still life painting. I had had my eye on this for a few weeks. I thought it was a painting on canvas, but it's actually just a print on a board. But I love the vintage look, and I love how it's such a statement piece. I already know exactly where I want to put this in the booth, and I think a lot of people are going to stop by to check it out. I actually got a great deal on this piece, which means I'm going to be able to sell it for a very reasonable price. My plan is to put this in the booth for just $75. This is something that I would love to see more of, so I'm really excited to see if someone scoops it up and how fast it moves. If you know anything else about these items, make sure you leave a comment below. I am always trying to learn more about the material or the value or similar things that I should be looking for. And I just appreciate all of you willing to follow along. And if you want to see how these turn out in the booth, make sure that you're subscribed. I'll see you next time.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lines. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since 9